Say hi to Dolly. See her little white paws back there? She is taking a little nappy on her electric blanket, nice and cozy. I am happy to report that I had a fantastic reading week. The memoirs I read first. This one was fantastic. Highly recommend. Very, very good. This one, all of these I talked about in detail in my most recent book haul. This one also very, very good. Both of these people went through a lot of very, very difficult things, and these were just very inspirational memoirs. Now, the only book that I did not read this week, or, well, I DNF'd it, but I did skim through it, was this one, just because it got a bit too boring for me. There was too much detail about all the different, photo shoots and various things like modeling and stuff that I just really wasn't interested in. I was more interested in like the personal aspects, like, her relationship with Billy Joel and things like that. So I just kind of skimmed it, didn't finish it. Then you saw the short video that I posted about this book. Fantastic, highly recommend it. Oh my goodness, ended on a wild cliffhanger, had some shocking twists, just as good as her first book. I loved her first thriller. This is her second thriller. The other books she writes are romances, which I haven't read, but these were fantastic. Then I read good old Frida McFadden's Brain Damage. I didn't give this one 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't as good as some of her other thrillers, but still solid. Still very solid. It definitely kept my attention and interest the whole way through. It didn't get boring at any point. It wasn't like most of her thrillers in that there weren't just shocking twist after shocking twist. This was one of her earlier ones that was published back in 2016. And I'm just now reading it. So yeah, that's why I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 stars, but it was a solid, good book. And then the one I just finished, Coming to Find You by Jane Corey. I'm going to be getting some more books by her from the library today, because I really enjoyed this one. Wow. What a thrilling mix. It has the synopsis did not even indicate that there was also a World War II story in here, which was a delightful surprise. There's a little bit of romance. There's lots of mystery and suspense and thriller in it. Just as a refresher for what the book is about, although I read the synopsis when I did the book haul, the protagonist is Nancy, and her mother and stepfather have been unalived, and her stepbrother is the culprit, who is now in jail, and he is writing to her. He's obsessed with her and says he loves her, and he's just a creepy dude in many, many ways. So he basically sends her a letter saying, when I get out of here, I'm going to come find you, and that's where the title comes in. But what is so thrilling about this book is there are 3 timelines. And what I love is as it goes back and forth between these 3 timelines, it leaves you on a cliffhanger, like right at the suspense where you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? And then it switches to a different timeline. So the 3 timelines are the current day, where Nancy is now living in fear she has fled to Tall Chimneys, this beautiful old house that was her great-grandmother's, I believe, or maybe it was her grandmother's. Yeah, it was her grandmother's, not her great-grandmother's. And this house, back in World War II, this house was a boarding house, and children who were fleeing the bombings in London stayed at this house. And oh my goodness, there's so many interesting historical storylines in there about World War II. It's just really fascinating. But so that's one of the storylines. And then the third one is going back to the night of the unaliving and what happened. They just show us tiny little snippets of what happened, because they keep alluding to the fact that somehow Nancy is also at fault somehow for their deaths. And so you're like, what is going on here? So the suspense is just fantastic all the way through. There's little cliffhangers that you can't find out until they go back to that storyline. It's not confusing. Let me hasten to add, you might be thinking, ooh, 3 storylines. That sounds very confusing. It's not confusing. It's very easy to follow. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. Now, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. That's not to say that it wasn't without a few problems, but I can't directly say what they are without providing spoilers. I'll just say, I do think that there was one element in here, one thing that happened that I felt like that's kind of unrealistic. I don't see how that could really happen. There might have even been 2 things that were kind of like, you have to suspend disbelief a little bit, but it didn't ruin the story at all. I wouldn't let it stop me from reading the book because I loved it. Also, there was something that Nancy did that I felt like, would a person really do that in real life? I know if it were me, I wouldn't have done that in real life. Again, those are not spoilers because it won't ruin your enjoyment of the book. I didn't give anything away. I'm just saying those were my thoughts, spoiler free on the book. So fantastic, brilliant. I mean, the way that she wove these 3 timelines together and kept you on the edge of your seat, like, it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I would highly recommend. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to add this to my top 10 list for this year. That's how good it was, because I really feel like she did a really, really good job. Like, I don't think I have read a book that was done quite so well, juggling 3 timelines like that. I really loved it. So yeah, I'm just now deciding that. I had already given it 5 stars, but like, I'm adding this to my list. I'm keeping a running list so that I could do a top 10 video at the beginning of next year of my top 10 books for this year. So I think I'm going to make this number 5, I believe it is now, on my list, because I really was wowed by the way she did the timelines and everything. Like, just kept me on the edge of my seat. I literally was gasping out loud. She would have you just on the edge of your seat, and then you have to wait and see what happens. But there again, it's not like you're not tempted and see, I'm somebody. This is why I demand so much of my authors, poor authors. I really expect a lot from them, because for me, because I have ADHD, I have a very low threshold when it comes to patience, I guess you would say, or like, in other words, you really need to hold my attention or my attention wanders. So for her to do such a good job, even when she switched to going back to the World War II timeline or going back to the Night of the Unaliving timeline, what I would do if it was what I would call a quote unquote bad book is I would skim through it and be like, I just want to see what happens next. But no, that timeline was also so good that I still wanted to keep reading that. Like, she held my attention while keeping me in suspense. That is not an easy job to do for me. I'm telling you, it's a very difficult job because I just will get impatient, and that's why I DNF so many books, because I get impatient and I'm like, oh, like one of the books that I DNF'd last week that I really thought I would like, that was one of the problems. It was the level of suspense where I was like, I have to find out what the deal is. So I just kind of like skipped to the end to see what the deal was, and I was like, oh, well, that wasn't really that great. Like, it wasn't. I need suspense that holds my attention. And to do that, you have to have a really good storyline while at the same time not doing it so intense that I can't hold off on finding out what it is and I just skim to the back of the book. I don't know. So like I say, I ask a lot of my authors, and she really, really followed through. This was fantastic. I'm going to be reading more by her. So it was a fantastic reading week. I'm headed to the library today to get some more books. There's 2 books that I haven't read yet from last week, but I'm not going to wait to go to the library, because if I don't end up liking either one of those books, then I won't have anything left to read, and you know I can't have that. So I will see you all next time. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you've read any of these or if any of these look good to you. I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.